The United States is full of amazing places that most people never even hear about. Hi, I'm Annie, and by the end of this video, you're going to know the 12 most overlooked but incredible destinations in the USA you can easily visit for unforgettable experiences and without the crowds. Because there are way more beautiful places to visit than just the Grand Canyon or New England in the fall. And if you love outdoor adventures, amazing coastlines, laid-back towns, and awesome natural wonders, you're not going to want to miss these. So, are you ready? Let's go! If you're looking for awe-inspiring views of the Pacific coastline, unspoilt beaches, and charming fishing towns, then you're going to love my first hidden gem. You probably already know about California's Highway 1, but Oregon's Pacific Coast Highway is just as beautiful, even more spectacular, and way less crowded. Driving northwards on the 101 Coastal Highway, one of the highlights is the Samuel H. Boardman State Park. This stretch of highway winds along the cliffs, offering breathtaking views of the ocean, beaches, and forests. And amazing places you can stop to explore like Arch Rock and Secret Beach. Cannon Beach is another stunning spot on the Oregon coast, one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. It's famous for its Haystack Rock, a towering 235-foot sea stack that rises from the beach. In 2013, National Geographic listed Cannon Beach as one of its most beautiful places in the world, and I can certainly see why. And if you think it looks familiar, Cannon Beach was also the setting for the 1985 movie The Goonies. Cannon Beach is just an amazing place to explore the tide pools, go surfing, or simply relax and enjoy the ocean. If the Pacific Coast Highway sounds good to you, then there's another spectacular natural wonder in Oregon I think you're going to love. Crater Lake National Park is one of the most overlooked destinations in the USA, and an incredible place to experience epic sunrises and sunsets. Boat, kayak, or swim in America's deepest lake. Hike and get amazing views of the mountains and rock formations. It was formed thousands of years ago when the Mount Mazama volcano collapsed and then filled with water to become the deepest lake in the US. It's also known for its amazing crystal clear water and the breathtaking views from the towering cliffs that surround it. As you would imagine, there's plenty of hiking trails to explore. And if you don't mind the cold, take a swim at Cleetwood Cove, or take a boat out to Wizard Island, where you can hike or even camp. One thing I definitely recommend is to take a drive around the Rim Road. It's about 33 miles long and has 30 different overlooks to check out, which give the most incredible breathtaking views of the lake and the surrounding mountains. Now, I'm not done with the Pacific Northwest just yet, and there's another incredible place I still want to show you, but we'll get to that a bit later. Crater Lake is certainly one of the USA's most overlooked national parks, but if visiting the spectacular rock formations of Utah's mighty 5 national parks is on your bucket list, you're going to want to know about this next place as well. Capitol Reef National Park might not have the towering cliffs of Zion or the iconic arched formations of Arches, but it's definitely the most underrated national park in southern Utah. With great hikes, scenic drives, amazing views of the dramatic rock formations, and it's way less crowded than the other parks. If you have a 4x4, one of the best off-road excursions in the state is the Cathedral Valley Loop that takes you through some of the park's most remote and rugged landscapes. But if you only have a day to visit or don't have a capable vehicle, I'd recommend driving the Capitol Reef Scenic Drive to see all kinds of arches, hoodoos, and narrow canyons. You can also stretch your legs on the stunning Grand Wash Trail that winds through a canyon that gets progressively narrower and narrower. Or make the hike out to see the Hickman Bridge, a 300-foot-high natural arch which spans the Fremont River. My next recommendation, which I think you're going to love, is another national park, but this one's in the exact opposite part of the country. I took a road trip up the coast of Maine recently, and it was phenomenal, full of beautiful harbor towns. And let me tell you, if you love lighthouses, then you definitely need to visit Maine. But one of my favorite places was Acadia National Park. It's one of the least known about national parks in America. And if you want mountains, rugged cliff tops overlooking the ocean, pristine beaches, and yes, more lighthouses all in one place, then you'll love it here. It's perfect for outdoor enthusiasts who love hiking, biking, camping, and exploring the great outdoors. It's also the first place in the United States to catch the morning sunrise, which you can drive up to see from the top of the park's highest point, Cadillac Mountain. And there's no end of hiking trails, clifftop viewpoints, beaches, lakes, and cycle paths to explore, including the popular Iron Rung hiking trails, where you have to climb up the side of cliffs using the iron rungs embedded into the rock face. And I love the beautiful waterside town of Bar Harbor, nestled just outside the park. It's full of bustling shops, lively bars, fantastic seafood restaurants, and great waterside views. Now, New England's amazing, and if you like the sound of Acadia and Bar Harbor, you're going to love this next place I've got to show you. Rhode Island is America's smallest state, and it's full of small wonders. In fact, even if you live in Rhode Island, it's possible you've never been to the tiny island of Block Island. That's because it's located 9 miles off the coast. Back in the 17th century, it was a whaling port and popular summer resort. Today, it's a perfect New England summer destination for families, couples, and anyone looking for a peaceful getaway. Think food and drinks overlooking the ocean, boutique-lined streets, spectacular nature, and some of the most unspoiled white sand beaches in the country. I loved visiting the lighthouses, especially the Southeast Lighthouse, which sits on top of the dramatic Mohegan Bluffs with its rocky beach below. The sandy beaches here are also amazing, especially Crescent Beach and Fred Benson Town Beach. It's just a great place to relax, unwind, and enjoy the beauty of nature, with loads of protected wildlife areas, 17 miles of public beaches, and 32 miles of scenic trails to explore on foot or by bike. Okay then, so if the idea of the remote, windswept beaches of Block Island are appealing, you're definitely going to want to know about what I've got to show you next. North Carolina's Outer Banks. The Outer Banks are a stunning string of barrier islands with beautiful open sea beaches, state parks, and shipwreck diving sites that make them one of the North Carolina coast's most unique and unforgettable destinations. As well as their breathtaking beauty, it's also a place full of fascinating history. You'll find wild horses here roaming freely on the beaches, descendants of Spanish Mustangs that were shipwrecked centuries ago. Then there's the town of Kitty Hawk, home of the Wright Brothers National Memorial, which commemorates the first successful powered flight in 1903. The Outer Banks also has close ties to the early European settlers, including the Roanoke Lost Colony, which mysteriously vanished in the 1580s. To the south lies the beautiful and wild Hatteras National Seashore. The Outer Banks today is a popular tourist destination, but its history as a place of European settlement and exploration makes it a real national treasure for anyone looking for relaxation, adventure, or a glimpse into the past. Now imagine waking up to crisp mountain air, enjoying a hearty breakfast, and then taking a drive to check out some moose. Or hiking to a lake with amazing mountain views. And then heading back into town for a delicious dinner and some bar hopping. Then Jackson, Wyoming is the perfect place. It's also a popular winter destination for skiing and snowboarding, as well as loads of other activities like whitewater rafting, mountain biking, horse riding, fishing, hiking, and even hot air ballooning. And it's nestled at the gateway to Grand Teton National Park, one of the most overlooked in the US. It's got the incredible Teton mountain range and tons of wildlife to see. So many visitors come to Wyoming for Yellowstone National Park. And I get it, Yellowstone is incredible. But whenever I talk to people about their trip and ask if they visited Grand Teton as well, most of the time I'm met with, "Where's that?" I think so many people miss out on it. And it's just 2 hours away. With its towering peaks, crystal clear lakes, and amazing wildlife, Grand Teton offers a more intimate and peaceful experience than its larger neighbor. So if you're planning a trip to Yellowstone, consider adding Jackson and Grand Teton to your itinerary. You won't be disappointed. And if the mountains and wildlife of Grand Teton are something you're interested in, then my next location is another one you won't want to miss. Now, South Dakota might not be top of everyone's bucket list, but let me tell you, it's got everything from outdoor adventure to great national parks, amazing scenery, and plenty of history all thrown in. From Rapid City, you can head east and check out Badlands National Park with its otherworldly formations of buttes, pinnacles, and spires that are amazing to see. One of the best experiences for me was visiting the Black Hills. I drove the Needles Highway Scenic Drive, which was just incredible. It's quite short, only about 14 miles long, but there's loads of viewpoints you can stop at. And this is also where you'll find one of the most iconic landmarks in the United States, the Mount Rushmore National Memorial, which features the sculpted faces of 4 former presidents carved into the rock face: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Another great place to visit is Custer State Park, named after General George Custer, and is known for its huge herd of bison and loads of outdoor activities you can do there, like hiking, biking, camping, and kayaking. While you're here, you can also check out other cool places like Wind Cave, Jewel Cave, and the Crazy Horse Memorial. There's still plenty more amazing places coming up to show you, but if you're dreaming about all the places in the world you want to see, interested in discovering new places and watching videos like this, and this, then why not subscribe and leave me a comment about your dream travel destinations? If you really want the perfect relaxing vacation, they say the Midwest is quieter, less crowded, and friendlier than almost anywhere else in the US. And one spot I discovered that's way under the radar is the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore along the shores of Lake Superior, Wisconsin. It's a collection of 21 islands that are only accessible by boat, and 12 miles of mainland shoreline, packed with pristine beaches, picturesque sea caves, historic lighthouses, and more than 50 miles of hiking trails to explore. The Apostle Islands freshwater sea caves are astounding, and kayaking is one of the best ways to experience them. Most of them lie along the mainland shoreline, and you can kayak past, and even through, some of them. I'd also suggest taking the ferry ride from Bayfield to Madeline Island, the largest of the Apostles. The ferry drops you off in the town of La Pointe, where you'll find Big Bay State Park. Hike or bike around the island, or simply explore around La Pointe. Now, we've covered a few amazing and underrated national parks in this list already. But if you're going to be visiting Arizona or even southern Utah, I've got somewhere incredible you're going to want to include in your trip. There's definitely no shortage of choice down here when it comes to huge canyons, deep valleys, and stunning rock formations. Of course, there's the big hitters like the Grand Canyon and Monument Valley, but another place you should definitely include on your list is Antelope Canyon. It's a stunning slot canyon you can walk through, with these breathtaking sandstone formations and swirling colors that seem almost otherworldly. Because of the way the sun creates light shafts that reach all the way to the canyon floor, it's one of the most photographed locations in the American Southwest. At midday, shafts of light cut into the canyon, illuminating the narrow orange and gold sandstone walls. The effect is almost surreal, and photography enthusiasts come here to capture this amazing sight. You can walk through the canyon, and Navajo guides take you through the most stunning formations, often sharing stories about the canyon's spiritual significance. And you can also combine Antelope Canyon with visits to other geological wonders of the Navajo Nation area like Horseshoe Bend. Or add it to your trip if you're visiting Zion, which is just a couple of hours away. So if exploring the outdoors is your cup of tea, but you prefer your adventures on the eastern side of the US, you can probably find whatever activity you love to do in this next place I'm going to show you. New River Gorge in West Virginia is the USA's newest national park. It's packed full of awesome things to do like hiking, rafting, scenic driving, climbing, biking, fishing, and more. And of course there's the iconic New River Gorge Bridge, the third highest bridge in the United States. You could easily spend a week here. There's so much to do. The amount of trails here can be a bit overwhelming, and everything is really spread out, so you're going to want to map out what you'd like to see before going. I definitely recommend hiking the Endless Wall Trail, where you're going to get dramatic clifftop overlooks of the gorge hundreds of feet below. Also driving the winding Fayette Station Road with its rocky outcrops. And hiking out to Sandstone Falls. The scenery is amazing and they're lots of fun. And head to Canyon Rim for the best views of the bridge. So I told you earlier I had one more place in the Pacific Northwest I wanted to show you, and I think I've saved the best till last. Hear me out on this one because there's a twist to it too. Now, cities aren't for everyone, but if a big city with a cool vibe, epic views and a splash of nature appeals, then Seattle is definitely the place. Downtown you have plenty of cool shopping and restaurants, like the historic Pike Place Market and the very first Starbucks. Of course you can take a trip up the Space Needle, but my favorite thing to recommend to people visiting Seattle is to catch the ferry over to Bainbridge Island, where you're going to get the most incredible views of the city skyline on the way, even as far as Mount Rainier if you're lucky with the weather. Now, if you have some more time, another incredible place you can visit from Seattle are the stunning San Juan Islands, right on the border with Canada. And in my opinion, they're one of the most picturesque places you can find in the United States. And that's saying a lot based on what we've covered in this video so far. It takes about 30 minutes to get there by ferry, and if you're lucky, you might even see whales or orcas as you cross. So keep your eyes open. The islands are so beautiful and pristine and just the most amazing destinations to visit for outdoor adventures. There's so much to do here, from whale watching to exploring the trails through lush forests and the rocky shorelines. You can even rent little mopeds or these little open-top cars to ride around the island on. So definitely a hidden gem of the United States, and somewhere I'd highly recommend taking the time to visit, either as its own destination or in combination with Seattle. And if your wanderlust isn't satisfied after all that and you want to know the 40 best places to go to in Europe, you're going to want to check out this video here next. With that said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment about your favorite places to visit in the US. And I'll see you next time.